Hey, y'all, my name is Bryant Young.
And Derek Chaney.
Here with a Decent Dads podcast. Brand new episode this week.
Yep, another great one with another great guest, Craig Wright. Man, he brought a tough topic to the episode.
He did. Yeah, we were very, very appreciative of him talking about the tough stuff.
That's right. But man, he came with some good funny stories too.
Yeah, and he also had like 3 dad jokes, and
he did.
It was solid. So I think you guys are really going to enjoy this one. A lot of good topics, a lot of fun topics. It was funny, and
yeah,
he's a good friend of ours, so it was nice to get to sit down with a bud and talk about some fun stuff.
Yeah. No, he did a phenomenal job. I think you guys will get a lot out of this episode.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you will.
Perfect.
No doubt about it.
Without further ado, I say we jump right into this, DC.
Let's do it.
All right. Decent Dads Podcast. Here we go. Good evening, folks, and welcome back to the Decent Dads Podcast. We're here to tell dad jokes, drink coffee, and build a community of dads navigating fatherhood together. I'm Bryant Young, fearless leader, co-host, girl dad, and your friendly local insurance agent based out of Springfield, Missouri. And now, before we get started on today's episode, please help me welcome, he's a 4'3" sophomore shooting guard from small town, Missouri. He wishes he was a first-team All-American, but instead, he's the coolest co-host with the most, a fantastic father of 2 and the home loan expert. Folks, put your hands together and welcome the incomparable Mr. Derek Chaney. How are you, Derek?
Doing good. Now that I know that I'm 4'3".
You know,
must be sitting in a high chair here next to you. Good night.
I must have misread that. I don't know what happened.
Sure. Yeah, I bet. But no, it's a good day for a good day, boys.
It's a good day.
Got our hoppy coffee with us.
Yeah, we do.
The athlete's version of it.
Yeah, we did. We actually learned something about coffee today, that there is an IBU count, and that tells you how bitter your coffee is.
Fun fact of the day.
We didn't know that.
Yeah. Who would have known? And we know that because of our fabulous guest today.
Dang right we do.
Craig Wright. He gave us that little tip, but yeah, no, I'm super excited, Craig, that you decided to hop on.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I think I originally met you probably 3 or 4 years ago, golf tournament, and have seen you around town at different events, and so we kind of know each other a little bit, not too well. I know you and Bryant know each other.
Yep, we've had the opportunity to work together before, and we've served on some nonprofit organizations together, and it's he's a good pal, so I'm glad to have him here tonight. Really excited about it.
Good to be here. Yeah, and I'm super excited because reading through his questionnaire that we sent him, he has some serious stuff on there, and then some stuff that literally, as I was reading it, I was laughing. So I can't wait to hear those stories. So, Craig, if you will, tell us who you are, what you do, give us your dad resume. Tell us how many kids you got, what are their ages, and which one's your favorite.
Yep. So to the last question, has anyone actually answered that one? Anyone with more than one kid?
You hit the nail on the head. Yeah. No.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure of that here, because I'm not going to be the first. I can tell you that. So Craig Wright here, financial advisor with Strategic Financial here in town, and been married to my wife Katie for 12 years.
Nice. Love it.
Yeah. It flies really fast. And we have 2 kids. Cool. Elliot is 8, finishing up 2nd grade, and Evelyn is 5, finishing up kindergarten. Cool. And so they are equally favorites at all times.
There you go. Yeah.
Every day.
Or it shifts depending on who's being a shit and who's not.
It's just part of life, right?
Exactly.
Part of being a dad.
Exactly.
Part of being a dad. So true.
Yeah.
So we start every episode, other than that obnoxious interview where I told you he's 4'2".
Keep
on shrinking.
Yeah. I was 4'3", wasn't it?
Not looking good.
Not looking good, pal. You're going to be gone by the end of next week. We'd like to start with the one thing that everybody is probably dealing with as a parent. It's tantrum of the day. We talked about it ahead of the show that like our kids are younger than your kids, and the tantrums probably look different,
Yes.
but they are still tantrums nonetheless.
Fortunately for me, they have gotten less frequent.
That's good to hear.
So the 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old stage, that was rough.
Good. So Elsie's not even there yet.
There's light at the end of the tunnel is what I'm hearing here.
Daily tantrums now go to, for the most part, they're much less frequent. So it's been a while since my son's had one, which is good.
Yeah. Nice.
My daughter, she's a little more moody We'll just put it that
Okay.
way. And so it can happen just flip of a switch. So, bedtime is the worst frequently. And it's, you're good. We're going to snuggle. Everything's all good. And then, I left something upstairs because, so my kids, they've decided they need to sleep in the guest bedroom downstairs. So my son now sleeps in the queen bed, and my daughter sleeps on the couch that's in the guest bedroom.
Oh, that's funny.
They both have their own rooms.
But who needs those?
No.
But why would we do that?
So that's so funny, Craig.
Yeah.
So they've just straight up moved.
Yeah.
Yep. So this started
I was gonna say, how long has this been going?
probably 3 weeks. Probably right after spring break time frame. So back when my daughter was younger, she moved in. Well, she would frequently start in her bed. So this was like when she was 2. Mm-hmm. Then she'd go to my son's room after he was asleep and sleep in his room all night. Which was
Loves
better
her
than
brother.
her coming
Yeah.
into our room.
That's true.
Well,
Yeah.
So
that's
then
a good point.
eventually we just moved them in together. He was like, yeah, you can. So we moved her bed into his room and they stayed in the room together. Then we finally, I think probably when she was 3, maybe almost 4, got her to go to her own room and stay there between the fact of, coming into our room multiple times a night.
Sure.
She doesn't sleep well.
Oh, poor kid.
My son, it's boom.
Poor
he's
dad.
out.
Right. Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Little bit of
Well,
both.
Especially, you have that little parent rivalry of, hey, go talk to mom tonight.
Yeah.
And it's
Mom needs cuddles tonight.
yes,
Okay.
let's be sure to wake her up for it. And mom kind of reciprocates a little bit too.
Oh, yeah.
Darcy talked about that when he was on. He's like, better than to come to dad's side of the bed. You better go over there.
Yeah, that is a fun game to play, though.
It is. So so they now have decided to move back downstairs or to downstairs.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so then she has to have someone in the
funny.
same room as her.
Okay.
She's 5. She's finishing kindergarten,
Mm-hmm.
right? So she's always been the most dependent, independent person.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've always liked. Since she was born. She's independently dependent.
Yep.
Got it.
So it's just her own. Everyone needs an Evelyn in their life.
Yeah.
But yeah, so laying down, already cuddling, it's all good. Oh, I left my Dee Dee, her little blanket,
Yep.
upstairs. Go get it. Lights are on.
Right.
You're good.
I need help.
Nope.
No.
There's the
No.
tantrum.
Yeah.
There's the tantrum right there. And it's,
Oh, man.
And I'm tired. My wife's already cuddling.
Sure.
The son, we're all good, but man.
Yep.
So at that point, is it like pounding our hands on the floor, kicking our feet on the ground, screaming, yelling, or what does it look like?
For her, it's a lot of, you're all so mean to me.
Oh, got it. It's the emotional manipulation.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Guilt trip.
So
on you.
I've
Why
got
is
that to
everyone
look forward
Why
to.
is
Good.
everyone so mean? You don't love me, which of course is not true.
Right.
And also heartbreaking to
Right.
hear.
Yeah.
Holy
That's a
shit.
tough one to
She's
swallow.
which of course she doesn't mean it.
No,
Right,
of
right,
course
right,
not.
yeah.
But
it's
yeah. You don't love me.
Right.
You don't love
Yeah.
me. Good grief. What about you?
Yeah. So, my kids are in the tantrum phase that you were talking about earlier.
Daily.
Yeah. So, our Liam, especially after we do milk time at night, he always wants a snack. Normally, it's one of 3 things: animal crackers, veggie straws, goldfish. And the other night, he wanted a snack after he drank his milk. So I was like, okay. I was like, you want one of those 3 things? And no. So I'm like, okay. I was like, well, let's go to the pantry and see what's in there. And he's like, okay. So we go in there. And I'm like, you want this? You want this? You want this? I'm like going down the line, right? Nope, to everything. I mean, I run out of options and stuff. I'm like, well, dude, if you don't pick anything, I can't give you a snack,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I'm like, so what do you want? And as soon as I asked him that, I don't know what happened, just had an emotional breakdown.
Oh,
He's like, Dad, I don't know.
oh, you're tired.
And I'm
oh,
like,
you're
I'm
tired.
like,
so we need to go to
like,
bed.
All right. I'm like, it's okay. I was like, let's go over one more time. Go down the list again. No. And I'm like, all right, well, if you can't pick, I was like, I'm going to go back in the other room, play with Brody, and, you're just not going to get a snack. Dad, I just don't know. And I'm like,
Poor guy.
and then I named the first thing on the list again, almonds. He's like, yeah, I want almonds. I'm good. So we get almonds after listing them off 3 times, and then he's good to go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude.
It's like what changes in their brain
Right.
there?
And it's
You
like
know that
at a flip of a switch, and
Yeah.
it's just
Suddenly figured out that, he's going to leave me here and I'm not going to
Yeah.
get anything, so I better pick something. Hurry. I
Right,
better pick
right.
something. Yeah, totally get
What
that.
about you, Bryant? What's your tantrum?
Mine is a silver lining kind of tantrum. You talked about the parental rivalry thing with which kid goes to which parent.
Right.
Well, there's only one kid in my house, and so now it's a little bit of an internal rivalry with Liv about who Elsie goes to, and it's always Liv.
Yeah.
She always asks for mommy, always, until this week.
Oh.
However, it was while she was screaming bloody murder, crying.
She was mad at mom.
Screaming. Well, and so she's not been feeling well again this week. She's had turns out she's had a fever, and it's just because of course she does.
Right.
They finally told us that we could give her an antihistamine, which I'm so excited about because she's been blowing green 11s, little green boogies straight out of both nostrils for I don't know, how old is she? Almost 2, so 2 years now that she's been blowing straight green 11s.
Nice.
But it's 10:30. She's gone to bed at 7. When she doesn't feel well, she sleeps like shit. Go figure. And so 10:30 she rolls over and just is screaming bloody murder, but it's not mommy. It's daddy. It's daddy.
Perfect timing.
Daddy. And I'm like, don't care. I'm in. Let's go. Tag me in. I'm so excited. Are you kidding me?
Man.
I want nothing more than my kid to actually want to be around me. I'm a little bit much, and I know that about myself. And so getting anybody to want to be around me is a good thing.
It was phases for us.
Did it go back and forth?
Yeah. With both kids, there were times where they were both mommy's kid and then daddy's, and it was, it's just back and forth.
It's always been kind of a split for you guys, right?
Well, yeah. Early, when it was just Liam, he would kind of do that, go back and forth. And then it's once he hit 1.5, then he converted over to, love and dad.
The church of dad. Yeah, and that's the only place he wants to go.
Yeah. So, however, the good thing about, me hurting my ankle and not being able to be near as active with him as I was, he is starting to give Allie a lot more love. And so, if there's a silver lining in all this, it's definitely that. And I've been able to build my bond with Brody because Allie's been busy with Liam, so I've been hanging out with Brody. So it's honestly it's worked out pretty well.
That's good.
But yeah, no, we do have another part of the episode here that we always start with,
and we call it the.
And so
we're going to insert something later.
Yep, you'll see. But no, it's dad hack. And so I know you had a little bit of time to.
We should reiterate what a dad hack is, because it's not always just a dad hack. It could also be dad vice.
That's true. We do always call it dad hack, but it's any advice, any information, any hack or trick, whatever you want to call it, that you think some other dads could really get a good benefit out of utilizing.
Awesome.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. It's not just the hacks, although it makes it easier to just call it that during the segment. Right. It's any piece of dad advice, any dad hack, anything that you like to do that works really well with your kids. We just want to hear about it.
Yep.
So,
you go ahead and start, Bryant.
You want me to start?
Yep.
All right. So I brought a little multimedia for us here today. One of our former guests, Jeff Houghton. Do you know Jeff?
Yeah.
So Jeff was on a few weeks ago.
Guys,
Yeah.
He's pretty cool.
He was an awesome guest to have on the show, and he put a TikTok out the other day, but it came up on Instagram or Facebook or somewhere, and I saw this thing, and I was like, oh man, I have got to ask for his permission for us to steal this, because I definitely want to use it on the show, because I think it would be really fun to show everybody here while you're here, and then also show it on the show. So watch this. It's like 1.5 minutes or something, but just watch this here, and then I'll start at the same time. 3, 2, 1.
Here's a fun parenting hack if you live in an older house. This is cool. So we have 2 young kids, and we live in a house that was built in the 60s. I took my kids to the library, and there are these old city directories where you can look up who lived in the house when it was built. It's pretty cool. So we did this recently. We found out who lived in the house, and then you can also look and
That's
see
kind of a fun
what
idea.
that person did as a job and see what the company was. It's pretty cool. It's a little time capsule. And then you can look up and find out modern day who are their descendants. You know what I mean? Who are kids, grandkids, great-grandkids. And then you can find out where they live. And then you send them an invoice because it was their ancestors who built your house, who moved into your house, and they're the ones that planted sweet gum trees. They're the ones that planted sweet gum trees in the yard. Invoice for all the work over the years of cleaning up 100,000 balls every year. I lived in a house with 1 sweet gum tree, and I was like, never again. Now I live in a house with 2 sweet gum trees. This is my 17-year anniversary. Acorns, fine. Walnuts, fine. Sweet gum trees is unethical. Green this generation? Or are they the generation that planted sweet gum trees? What's wrong with an oak tree? A maple tree! There's so many trees. Did they plant these things knowing, like, the world's greatest generational prank? Or did they not know at the time? And they're like, oh, it's another tree, it grows fast. Or did they know? Because if they knew, that's insidious. Congratulations, sweet gum trees. You did it. Nature won. You won. And then if they don't respond to the invoice, you take management on hands, you know what I'm saying? Fun parenting hack. Take a kids to the library. Exact vengeance.
But as soon as I saw that, I called him like, hey, man, can we use that? Because that's really, really funny.
Oh, yeah. And what more of a dad thing to do than complain about trees and trees?
Did you have a sweet gum tree?
I had one growing up, and there's one in my back frickin' yard now.
Yep.
Did you guys have one?
We had one growing up. I remember... I don't remember how old I was. My mom was like, I'll pay you a penny per gumball you pick up. I don't remember how many I picked up. But it was only one tree.
But it's still
I'm
so
sure
many
I earned,
thousands.
At least a few bucks
to
buy some toys or something.
Yeah, and it also probably took you longer to count them than it did actually rake them up. Too,
right.
So,
no joke.
What about you? What kind of dad hack do you have, DC?
Yeah.
I don't know if that really counts as a dad hack, by the way, but I still think it's funny.
Yeah, it is funny. No, mine is simple.
Yeah, exactly. Library time.
And efficient. Okay, we implemented it tonight, actually. So here for a few weeks, we have soccer starts at 5:30, goes to 6:15, and then we have swim lessons right after that at 6:30 on the other side of town.
Holy crap!
Yeah, so we gotta hop in the car real quick and make it to swim lessons. And so the first week we did that, we was like, I don't know, 5 minutes late to swim lessons. Right, we gotta figure this out. So I came up with a great idea, and it was my idea. My wife was even impressed with it. And I was like, what if instead of like changing clothes from soccer to swim, why don't we just put swim trunks on Liam while he's doing soccer, and then all we have to do is switch out the shirts, and we're good to go. And she's like, I love that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. Don't get me wrong, he looks like a goofball out there with these
he doesn't know any better.
These tropical shorts and his soccer jersey, but he's not old enough to care. So.
Exactly. I'm into this. This is a good idea.
Yeah, and so it worked great. We were like 10 minutes, or I'd say at least 5 minutes early to swim lessons today. And I'm like,
hey, you know what? Dress for the day you want to have, kid.
That's right.
Dress for the day you want to have.
That's right. So that worked well.
I like that a lot. That's really good.
Yeah.
I like that.
What about you, Craig?
What do you do? What do you have?
So I would say mine was some advice I got a couple years ago.
Perfect. We love those.
For it. And it's basically like what your kids like.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Now that's tough sometimes.
Yeah.
So my son went through a phase here about a year ago. So I'm a couple years older than you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of missed the whole Pokemon thing.
Sure.
You guys were kind of more the generation where it
right around in there.
Yeah. I never got into it.
Not into it. Okay.
No, never once.
I don't think I still have my cards, but I definitely did.
I was never really into it.
He got into it.
Yeah.
So books, all the
okay.
He would always check out the Pokemon books from the library. I'm sitting there going, this is terrible.
I am not a fan of this. No, I do not like this.
What happened to baseball cards?
So it's like, I'd much rather, let's go play sports. Let's go do whatever, anything but Pokemon. So it took me a little bit, but trying to like what he liked, encourage what he liked, but also then the other advice I got with it is, but take him on stuff you like. Right?
Yeah.
So it's
that's a good point.
If I like to go, I like to go hunting. So I've taken my son hunting many times. So he's starting to like hunting.
Cool.
And so like that's cool. He loves sports. We do a lot of sports together.
Cool.
My daughter's big into gymnastics. So it's focusing on that. I can't barely do a somersault.
But you're there, excited and supporting her. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's just like what your kids like.
Cool.
But also do the things you like with them.
Right.
So they can share that experience with you.
Engage in the hobby exchange.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like to do these things, and you like to do those. We're going to do all of it together.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and you're a financial guy, so you might like this. I just saw this year a guy quit the NFL to trade Pokemon cards, and he made more trading Pokemon cards than his NFL salary.
That's unbelievable.
He was a guy that played for the Raiders. Can't remember his name, but
he played for the Raiders.
Right.
I would rather
it doesn't
trade
get much worse than that. Let's be honest.
I would rather trade Pokemon cards than play football in Vegas. No, thank you.
Yeah, it was something crazy, like $5 to $7 million or something is what he made this past year doing it. And I'm like, that's nuts.
Good Lord. Wow. Well, I guess we all need to quit our jobs and just go trade Pokemon cards. Good grief.
Still not going to do it. Even
Oh
for
my
$5
God.
million.
No, I'm good. So, changing pace a little bit here, Craig. We talked a little bit ahead of time and wanted to make sure this was an okay topic to talk about with you. But you shared with us that your wife had a miscarriage, and we hadn't really talked about that on the show before, and we had hoped, again, with your and your wife's permission, to kind of talk about that with you. See how it was through the lens of the dad side of things, and just kind of, if you could talk about your experience, we would appreciate it.
Yeah. So it's, after it happened, my wife and I, of course, go through all the emotions of it all with it, and each experience is different. But, we decide, what, people don't talk about it. And especially guys don't talk about it, right?
Which is
and so
why we're excited to talk about it.
Not that
here.
we're out there blasting it to everybody, but if it comes up, we're happy to share kind of our experience with it. But so between the two kids, we were my wife had found out she was pregnant. So everything was good, and so unfortunately the doctor's office kind of was like, oh well, you don't need to come see us right away because you already had a successful pregnancy. So don't worry about it. We'll see you at 12 weeks and it's all good, right? Instead of kind of the first child, 4 weeks,
right.
You find out 5 weeks, whatever, you're all good. So, we went, or we were going through and she just, started not feeling good and stuff. And so, it was on a weekend, if I remember right. And so we ended up going to the hospital because she was, my wife's really tough when it comes to a lot of things. And, it was one of those deals where we need to go to the hospital.
Something's
and
up,
figure out what's going on here. And so,
yeah,
so we went and, of course, ER on a Saturday, not a great experience.
No, God,
so,
no
they
joke.
do the whole, ultrasound, all this stuff. And what the really frustrating part at that point is the doctor on call was like, well, we'll just kind of wait and see, for it. And so,
not the news you wanted to hear.
which, so at that point we didn't know anything was going on. Next day she's having some more physical problems. And so we go back to the hospital again and we get to a different doctor, like there's no baby, and so, which the most frustrating part was the doctor the day before knew that.
I wondered if that was just that other doc being chicken shit and didn't want to tell you.
Didn't tell us. And so, when it's always tough news, right? But when there's no evidence of there being a live fetus in there, just tell them.
Yeah,
right.
And so the
That's
next
your
doctor
job.
Literally.
The next doctor told us, it was like, things will pass and, it'll be fine. So then I think it ended up being Monday morning. So my wife goes to the bathroom and passes out from the pain and like all the physical things going on. And so I had to call an ambulance actually to take her to the hospital. And they had to do the surgery for to take care of it, everything from it. And so it was, it was a big kind of trying experience through that, all the emotions. We've got a healthy, I guess it would have been 1.5 boy, so everything's good. He doesn't know what's going on because, that's way too young for him to know anything for it. But so it was definitely real. I would argue, all miscarriages are tough emotionally for both the husband and the wife.
Sure.
For it, and especially the wife, because she's experiencing it. This one was real tough physically. To have 3 separate trips to the ER for it, and the final ambulance ride and stuff. And so, it was hard. We couldn't. Our son was too young to have any conversation. He didn't know. It was just he woke up that day and grandma and grandpa were there, instead of mom and dad. But he doesn't know any different at that age.
It's a little bit of a blessing that he was that age and he wasn't old enough to know.
To see, have ambulance coming, have paramedics come.
See mom on the floor
stuff,
or something.
And so it was it was hard. One of the things we did, and we still haven't told our kids kind of the meaning of this, but we afterwards that spring we bought a plant and we planted it.
Very cool.
And so it's kind of one of those things that we remember for it. Our nephew, so my wife's sister, she was also pregnant at the same time and had had a healthy pregnancy and everything was good, but our child was supposed to be born about the same time.
Oh, wow.
And so it was going to be a
That's
real
tough.
cool thing that they were going to be basically birthday buddies
that close.
and stuff. And so it's a little kind of a special bond you have with that nephew from there,
Yeah.
just because
Yeah.
you go, we don't know what would have happened, what could have happened or anything from there, but it's like, we were supposed to have a child then.
Yeah.
We didn't. We now have our Evelyn.
Sure.
know?
Exactly.
And so fortunately we were able to have a healthy next pregnancy. Everything was fine from it. But, it was hard. Definitely a lot of tears on both of our parts from it.
Rightfully so.
And it took a while. You don't really get over it because for 12 weeks we were expecting everything. I guess 8 weeks, you find out, but
still,
for a couple months, we were expecting, hey, everything. We'd already told our family. We hadn't really told anyone else yet at that point.
Yeah.
But we'd already told our family members because it was
we'd already
fine,
done this once. We knew what was
we're all
coming.
good.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah.
So you and I kind of met each other pretty much doing OCC stuff, the Ozarks Counseling Center stuff. Did you guys, if you don't mind me asking, did you guys do any kind of counseling or anything like that? We talked about parental mental health on the show a lot, and we think that that's super important. Did you guys seek out some counseling to help with that? Or?
Yeah, we didn't, not from any other reason than we just communicated with each other.
Good for you. Yeah.
For it, it wasn't a taboo topic between the two of us. It was like it's real. It happened.
Right.
And it was tough for a while, and even looking back on it now, it's even though it's been 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
For it, it's still can be tough just thinking about it.
Oh, absolutely.
But time heals a lot of wounds,
Right.
and especially having a healthy next pregnancy. And I know people have struggled with a lot worse things for it, or multiple miscarriages.
Right. Yeah.
We were fortunate that all we know of is the one for it, but it was challenging times.
Yeah.
Sure.
What about? And we've been fortunate enough that we haven't ever had to experience that, so I don't personally know. But you and your wife, I can imagine. Obviously, you said that was a very tough time for you guys. But were you guys able to grow tighter, grow your bond, through that period?
Yeah, absolutely. If all you have is roses, right?
Yeah.
It's
you're used
to
to roses.
You don't have that great of a you can't grow throughout without having the trying times.
Yeah.
Right? And so the trying times, not that we want to seek out the trying times,
Right.
But those things, especially when you truly love each other. And you've got that at the heart of your relationship, it's only going to grow you together because you're leaning on each other to help each other through it. And, as the husband, I know it was a different role I had to play in it, right? Of, okay, how do I support her? Because this was obviously damaging physically.
Sure.
But then the emotional side of it too, that's going to last for a long time. Not saying I was perfect by any means, but just trying to find ways to be there for her, and I think kind of having that plant helped that we could water it, grow it every year.
That's
it comes
neat.
back, it grows.
Cool.
Pick the flowers from it, and
That's great. Well, yeah, thank you for sharing, man.
Yeah,
that was one
absolutely.
of those things where when you brought that up with us, we're like, well, if you're okay to talk about it, we would love to, just because it is something we haven't talked about on the show. So,
Yeah. Well, Craig, you were just talking about a pretty serious topic there about you and your wife, and but the good thing about that is you guys were able to grow out of that and grow closer. But you also shared some other good information, good advice with us about hey, even though you have kids, don't stop dating your wife.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So share a little bit
that.
more about what you guys do, because I know honestly for me and Allie, that's a struggle for us.
Yep. We're working on that
to, too. Still, date your wife, give your wife, all the attention she needs, she deserves. So, what works well for you guys?
So we are very, very fortunate. My parents are local and her parents are local, and they're great.
it's the best.
They're
just the best.
It makes a difference.
Built-in
It really
babysitters.
does.
And so, my parents will frequently, hey, kids are going to spend the night on Friday night, so go have a date.
Hey, we're stealing the kids.
Yeah.
You guys figure out something to do.
And so, just
That's awesome.
Even
Yeah.
this last Friday, my mom's like, hey, can the kids stay the night on Friday night? So I text my wife and I'm like, hey,
I love that.
Hey, babe, you want to go on a date Friday? And so she's, super excited. So she tells me this when I get home. She's like, I'm super excited. So my mom gives my son piano lessons.
Oh, okay.
That's fun.
So he went over to, my wife dropped him off, and then I pick him up and take him home from there because after school and all that stuff, right? So anyway, so I get home, and she's like, yeah, so I was real excited when you said, that you wanted to go on a date on Friday night, that you knew it was something we really needed. And then your mom told me that it was her idea.
No, it wasn't. Come on, Mom. You're blowing up
Mom, you're killing me.
You're blowing up my spot here, Mom. What the hell?
I had so many bonus points right there.
Right? It just went to 0.
So we still had a good time on the date, so it was all good. But no, I mean, really, even if you don't have built-in babysitters, doing that, surprising with, hey, we're going to go on a date and having it scheduled, even if it's 2-3 weeks in advance, having things that you're doing little getaways that kids are not around, and just, we like listening to live music.
Nice. I was going to ask what's your go-to like date for the two of you?
Yeah. Usually, somewhere to eat. We like to rotate things around, different local places.
Good.
For it. Sometimes if there's live music there, great. If not, maybe go for a little walk, something. Nothing. We're not fancy people.
Yeah. Right.
It's like just go do something.
Just
go
you
home.
and her time.
Yep.
It's the main thing.
No, the time is obviously the most important part of that. That's
Get
awesome.
dressed up a little bit. Put on nice clothes.
Yeah. Put on pants today. I get it. I know how you
fix
are.
the tooth
I
you
know
were
how
talking
you are.
about earlier.
Yeah.
And I like your thought process though about like planning it ahead of time and getting it in the calendar.
Yeah, and putting in the effort to make
with
it
the kids,
happen,
you have
right?
to, and especially now. So, I mean, my kids have a lot of activities going on. So it just gets worse from here. Is what I've been told.
Once sports actually start happening more regularly and that kind of stuff.
So
sure,
it's one of those things where you got to have the time. You got to set it aside. You got to be intentional about it so that it will happen. I mean, I would say probably every 6 to 8 weeks is probably when we get a chance to.
Oh, nice.
Now,
nice. Good for you. That's
where
great.
It's just us,
Perfect
for it. So
that's so cool.
What's your go-to date with Allie?
Yeah, I mean, we just did our first like getaway, me and her.
Yeah.
Back in when was that? Back in February or something that we went to Vegas for like 3 days.
Oh, that's right, the Vegas trip. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that was super cool. But no, I mean, ours is very similar. Yeah, we don't need anything special. It's hey, let's go grab dinner. We really like breweries too, so a lot of times we'll go to a brewery beforehand, grab a few drinks.
Perfect.
Hang out, like you said, just talk, have conversation, like intentional, focused conversation with your spouse.
Not necessarily about the kids.
Right. But
inevitably it's going to go there. But
it's like when the kids are there, you're so distracted and so in tune with what they're doing, you can't focus on your spouse, right? Where this time,
trying to corral them from going to disturb all the other patrons of the restaurant.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'd say breweries, dinner, and then that's really it.
Nice.
Got to get dessert.
Yeah.
Got to, right? Yeah.
Yeah. We do that sometimes. My wife's kind of a health nut, and so sometimes she's like, you can go get some. I'm good. And then
and then it's like, well, I'm not going without you.
I feel like a fat kid.
It's like I'm not going without you. So
yeah. But
that's funny.
What about you guys? What do you do for date night?
Oh, we like movies quite a bit.
Yeah.
And so the Alamo Draft House.
Ooh, dinner and movie.
Yeah, dinner and a movie all at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's talking about being a fat kid. They just bring you a pizza and set it in front of you.
I don't even have to move.
Yeah, it's like I can just sit here and they're going to bring me a pizza
while I'm in a recliner.
and I'll watch John Wick shoot 400 people on TV. Yeah, I'm definitely just doing that.
Perfect.
That's something. When we lived at our last place, we lived very near the Alamo Draft House. And so before Elsie, that was Liv and I's like go-to date night. That's again not the fanciest, the swankiest thing in the world, but that's the thing we like to do. Just go do that, and then
I mean, you already got the ring on it, and so you don't have to go all out all the time.
Well, it is funny though, because you mentioned it briefly. The people watching is half the fun in those kind of situations, is too, where it's like, all right, who the hell are they going to sit next to us? And there's what kind of weirdo or smelly person or whatever bought the ticket next to us.
Or if you see other parents out with their kids and their kids do something, you're like, I've been there.
Yeah.
I know what you're going through.
And I don't have to deal with it tonight.
Right, exactly.
Oh yeah,
That's always fun, man.
You said something earlier that made me think of this, that being intentional about like having the conversations with your spouse and scheduling these dates. I know you to be a pretty intentional person. You are pretty well thought out. You are pretty organized. I assume that also translates to child rearing.
Sometimes. Let's be honest here.
Sometimes.
I assume that we could make the natural jump to the kids.
Yeah. So my son's 8 now, and so taking him home from piano lessons is him and me one-on-one time. We've got about a 12-15 minute drive home, and not every time do we have a big conversation, but it's, hey, let's be focused on something. Teach him a life lesson. Give him some wisdom, help him deal with the kids at school, and whatever may be going on for it. But a couple weeks ago, he was kind of talking about some different things. Was like, I think everybody deserves a fair share of things, and started going down this whole socialism thing. Like, whoa,
Wait a minute, son.
Capitalism 101 right here. Let's have a little lesson. So let's kind of talk through that, and then he kind of ended that and goes, yeah, I like
sense.
that better.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Good. I just wondered it because I know that, again, I know you to be a pretty intentional person, so I assume you've done something like that with your kids.
Yeah, you just got to take the time to teach them some things that you know. So whether it's just dealing with people, whether it's how to handle different situations, what they should. Teach them what's right and wrong.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, modeling is a great way. Setting the example for it.
Yep.
But taking the time to use the words too,
Yeah.
and thus teach them how to communicate. Kids today don't know how to communicate.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they're not given the opportunities to play make believe. Right. So they watch people play make believe.
Oh.
On
so
screen.
accurate.
Right?
Yeah. Wow.
And so kids are watching it instead of participating in it. And so I really think that leads to a lot of problems down the road.
Interesting. Yeah, I hadn't thought about it like that, but you're
And so
dead on right.
Giving them the opportunity to play it out, to act things out, to talk through stuff too, and not just watch it happen on a screen.
Yeah,
Sure.
I like that.
You know,
Yeah, that's good.
And honestly, what better time than the car ride? Because you have their undivided attention, right? For like you said, 15 minutes or however long it is. And make them talk to you. Make them be creative. Make them think about things.
Don't tell them, hey, how was school today? Good.
So
Right.
that's exactly what I was going to say.
Right.
How was school today?
What was good
what
about
is that?
it?
What is that game?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, well, who'd you play with at school today?
Right.
What did you play at recess? Who were you kind to someone today?
Yeah.
Was there anything you were brave about today?
Yeah.
You never know what they're going to come up with.
No.
The one we heard during the show that I liked a lot was tell me the best thing and the worst thing about your day.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I really, really liked that because it'll really kind of let's bookend it with the high and the low, and let's talk about both and why both were important and how do we learn from both.
It helps you understand their personality.
Sure.
Ooh,
Right.
Yeah.
Because as you've probably seen with two kids, they're not the same kid.
They're opposites, actually.
So I was naive, so I had figured out my son, when he was young. I was like, all right, here's how I can get him to do the right thing, when he was 1 and 2. So then
I got this parent thing figured out.
I'm good at this stuff.
Right. I had figured out how to manipulate it, right? How to spin it to get him to stop the antics and to do whatever, right? So daughter comes along, like, oh, perfect, do the same thing.
Playbook goes out the frickin' window.
So true, though. So
Nothing
true.
worked the same. For
Yeah.
it, so
Yeah. That is so true. We are just starting to hit that, having back and forth conversations with my oldest. And we just had one, well, I guess just a couple days ago when I picked him up from preschool. And sometimes you really have to pry those answers out of them. But then it's like, once you finally get them to open up, well, then they just spew whatever. Like you said,
sure.
you have no idea what they're going to say,
Right.
but it's kind of fun.
It's fascinating too to see what they view as bad and good too.
Oh, right.
Like with you said with that guest that was saying, high and low.
Yeah.
It's like you go, I never would have thought that would have been a bad thing.
Sure.
For it, but they can see a good thing in a bad way.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. It's just
And maybe that's your opportunity as a parent to help them reshape their view on something,
Right.
or adjust how they're looking at it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that was Liam's thing when we was driving home. I was like, like you were saying earlier, I was like, well, who'd you play with, and he lists his 2 little friends' names, and right after that, he's like, I played with so and so and so and so, and they were nice to me today. And I'm like, wow, I never really thought about that, but that is awesome that you're
Good that he's
paying
recognizing
attention
that.
to that
Yeah.
stuff, right, already. And so, yeah, that led into a whole nother conversation. Were you nice to them?
Right.
And, what'd you do for them? And all this stuff. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Cool.
Having those conversations.
Yeah.
At this point, it's just talking to Elsie about whether or not she's got poop in her pants. So,
And you need mommy to clean that out, right?
yeah.
Right.
Wait till we get home. Wait till we get home. Wait till we get home.
My nose is not working right now. I don't know what's going on. It's
We'll get there one of these days.
Pass the child. Oh yeah. Well, that leads perfectly into our next kind of unofficial
Yeah,
part.
perfect. Yeah,
of
actually it does.
the episode.
Yeah, it's great.
We've got to where we just ask people, tell us your funny stories.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned at the beginning of it, you have a couple on here that just made me giggle when I was reading it. And so the one I'm most excited about, maybe it's just because I have boys, but you put on here whenever your son was asking, what are these little things, quotations, these little things under his penis are. So please
Yes.
share that story with us.
Yes. So in our household, we want to try and teach proper anatomy.
Good.
and stuff,
Okay, we've
right?
talked about that a lot. We
not
agree.
call it the pee and
Yeah. We
Call
agree
what
with
it
this.
is.
Right.
Yep.
And so it's just it's a penis, right?
Yeah.
And so he's kind of known about his penis for a while. Right?
Yeah.
'Cause-
What's this extra stuff?
Yeah.
What's these extra little?
So he was getting out of the shower. Oh, this guy, I think this had to be about a year ago or so. And I was in there with him. I'd maybe come in to, he showers in our shower for
Sure.
whatever reason. That's the only shower in the house. No.
No.
The only one that works there.
But both of our kids have to shower in our shower. We have two other
Naturally.
bathrooms they
Yep.
could use.
And they don't sleep in their rooms. You
No.
got a trend going.
I
Yes.
was gonna say, pal. I don't know. I'm hearing kind of a habitual thing forming here.
Hey, no one. It's decent dads, right?
Yeah.
That's all. This isn't perfect dads. Podcast.
Keeping the bar within
Right.
reach. We have a guest.
Keeping
right.
the bar within reach.
That's right. So anyway, so he's out of the shower. So of course he's standing there naked,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Daddy, what are these little these things underneath my penis here?" I'm like, "Oh boy, here we go. You're how old now, and I've got to go there."
All right, here we go.
Man. So I was like, "Okay, well, this is called your scrotum, and this
Yeah,
is
yeah,
your
yeah.
testicles, and
Oh my.
Not a conversation I was prepared to have
No.
tonight. But
I was
man.
not ready to go there, and so I'm inside dying laughing.
Oh, of course.
Right? Yeah.
But I can't show
But
it.
he asked it earnestly,
Yeah,
and so he was.
genuine, trying to be serious,
Curious.
and just curious. Hey,
Yeah.
what is this thing down here? And so obviously didn't go far with it, but just gave him the basic. Hey, this is what this is, and
So he wasn't doing the bat wing thing, trying to catch water with
Right.
it or anything. It was just good grief.
yeah, my boys are at an age where that's the toy when it comes to shower or bath time. Oh my gosh! Like, doesn't that hurt? Good night. Good night. Well, yeah,
man.
you have some other good ones.
Yeah,
here
what
that-
else does he have on there?
So
Oh.
let me go with this one for it. So
Yeah.
I got to go there.
Okay.
So this one, Bryant, I think you're gonna love, and
Perfect.
I hope you get to experience something like this someday.
Okay.
So
I'm
my
excited.
daughter. I mean, she was at least a conversational age. She'll probably be between 2 and 3. So she could, formulate words and all that stuff was, all good there. So she was going to the bathroom. So I was sitting on the couch in the living room. My wife goes in to help her, and she goes, "Mommy, what's this thing called down here?" And kind of similar story
Right,
here,
right,
right?
right.
Yeah.
So Katie's like, "Well, that's your vagina," and she goes, "Oh man, I thought it was a bajuju."
A bajuju? What?
Oh well, that's what we're gonna use in
I
our
was
house
like,
from now on.
yeah, that's a new term.
Oh, that's
Okay.
hilarious. So is that like something she picked up at school?
No, she would not have been in school at that point.
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
duh. Yeah, Jesus.
Well, but even like
2, 3 years
preschool,
old.
Yeah.
this would have been during COVID year and stuff.
Oh,
So
yeah.
she was staying with grandparents all the time. So
Wow.
definitely not a conversation at grandparents'
Oh.
house.
Right?
But I thought this was a bajuju.
Oh, dude.
Oh, that's hysterical.
Where they come up with this?
Right.
Oh, absolutely. Dying laughing.
Well, I mean, there used to be an entire TV show called "Kids Say the Darndest Things" for this very reason. Because, and I've jokingly told this story before, but like I went to daycare and told the teachers that I was as tall as my dad's penis because I used to get into the shower and I was eye level with him in the shower, and I'm as tall as my dad's penis. So yeah, kids say that. But Juju is hilarious.
Oh, man.
What about the difference between girls and boys? How's that going?
Yeah. So that's kind of a different thing with it, right? Because
obviously the anatomy side of things
aside.
So,
yeah. So with raising boys versus girls, I mean they're just different, right? Each kid's different. I mean, you have two boys; they can be completely different. Yeah. But generally speaking, our kids are really good kids, and so we're really blessed with that.
Good.
For it. But they also are like most siblings, right? I know you had some siblings.
I did. Yep.
Right. Yeah. Same here. My brother and I. It took him moving to college before we became friends.
Really? How far apart are you two?
4 years.
4. Okay.
For it, but we fought right all the time.
Much like Drew and I.
Yeah, and so it's like get out of the same house, and hey, we can be friends.
You're
now.
a pretty cool dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can like each other.
Yeah, we aren't
that's all
competing
good,
over bathroom
right?
time or something.
Yeah. So, but difference in raising boys and girls. It's so my son, when he was potty training, right? So especially in the summer, right? Go pee anywhere.
Right.
Just right. Just pull your
That's our
pants down and
favorite.
go.
That's our favorite topic on the Decent Dads podcast.
Even still today, he will go pee anywhere. It's like I gotta go. So he just runs around the corner.
Not shy.
So we live at the end of a cul-de-sac, right? And so there's a not a major road, but another road that goes due north of our house with this empty vacant lot right there. So instead of going like between the two houses or just running into the bathroom, which is closer
inside the house,
he runs
closer.
outside. Goes on the side of the house where he people passing by can see what
Full
he's doing.
view.
Yep. And he's boom, gonna go. So back when my daughter was potty training, so she pulled a funny one on us. Well, I thought it was funny, at least, and I think you guys will get a kick out of it too.
Mom, not so much though, huh?
No, so we had some guests over, and so we got a deck, and so my daughter ended up just dropping a deuce on the deck.
Oh shit!
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
Exactly.
Gotta go, right? So she for whatever reason had her diaper off, and so did that, and my wife steps in it.
Oh no! Oh no! Did she have shoes on?
I believe she was barefoot.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
My God. Forever unclean. Forever unclean.
I can't even imagine. Oh,
So
man.
it was.
Oh, I bet the expletives were flying at that point. Oh my God.
We had guests over, so we had to kind of tame it down a little bit. But,
Yeah, we had one.
so she's running off with her. I've got to do the cleanup in that case, and
Yeah, we had one when we was potty training Liam, and he just got out of the shower, and so he was naked. And like I said, daddy's boy always loves cuddling with me. For whatever reason, wanted to cuddle with Allie. And so Allie's just embracing these naked cuddles. And then it's about, 2-3 minutes into the cuddles, her leg starts to get really warm. And she picks Liam up, and a little turd just rolls off her leg. And she's like, oh my God, it's so disgusting. She's like, take him. It's like, you're cuddling with her for a reason.
Yeah. Mommy, hold me so I can squeeze this thing out of here.
He tricked mom a little bit on that one. What about we've had a few guests talk about where their kids like try to trick them with different things. And
I cannot wait for that to come out. The and having enough attitude or personality to try and play pranks on you or be jokey with you.
Yep.
I'm so excited for that.
Yeah.
So for Christmas this year, we got our kids Kindles. They call them iPads because they don't know any different.
Right.
And we're not buying them a full on iPad.
No.
Right. So
absolutely
there's no point.
Amazon Fire, Kindle, whatever the thing is. Right. So
Perfect.
So that's what they got for Christmas. Golly, this probably would have been maybe in January or February this year. My wife had something at school late that night, and so I had the kids, and they were in the bedroom, in my bedroom, not their own, of course, right?
Your kids don't go to their own rooms. No.
Why
those rooms don't exist.
Why? I mean, all your clothes are in there, all the toys.
Yeah, those
No.
are closets, Dad.
Yes,
Duh.
yeah, why? So anyway, so I'm cleaning up in dishes from supper or whatever it was, and I overhear my son kind of talking to my daughter of being like, "Hey, let's watch together, and then we can, we'll watch on yours first." And because we can set screen time on it, right? So you set an hour of screen time. Yes. Right. So we've, parental control.
Collusion.
Put an hour in. He already figured that out and goes, let's just watch on yours first. Then we can watch on mine and we'll get double the time.
Yeah.
So I sit back, right?
Yeah.
Why not? Let him
See what happens.
Let's see how this goes here, right? So he, their hour's up. They come out to go get the other one. I go, what are you doing? Oh, we're gonna watch. It's like, no, your hour's up, buddy. What are you talking about, Dad? It's like, you get 1 hour. You don't get an hour on hers and an hour on yours.
Yeah.
You get 1 hour. So
I do like
collision.
that angle, though.
Yeah, but at the same time too, you're like, I'm kind of impressed that you had the brain power to think of that, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where you go, I'm kind of proud of you.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest.
I'm a little bit happy that this was the way your brain works.
Where this is going to go, teenage time. Let's hope that we can get it.
We're gonna have to
stay on the right path until then.
right.
We're gonna have to get dead
Put the
bolts.
foot down right now.
Yeah.
But I love that it's, and normally you would expect the more like mischievous, like the mischievous side of it to be the younger sibling, but it's
Right.
not. It's big brother.
Yep. Oh yeah. He was talking her into it.
I was the rule follower.
Yeah.
Me being
Really?
the older
Oh.
brother, which makes no sense now, and I understand
Right.
that. But
That's
like,
how our kids are.
I was 100% the rule follower. My mom talks to this day about the fact that they didn't really have to get super deep into discipline with me because my mom could just look at me with teacher eyes, and it was enough for me to cower and do exactly whatever she told me to.
Right.
Whereas my brother was the exact opposite of that and would do nothing that they wanted them to do, and they had to go round and round and round with him to get that done. But it is kind of funny. The stereotypes don't always hold up,
Yeah.
but that is
They
kind of
definitely
fun.
do in our house.
Yeah.
Liam
Yeah,
is
yeah.
our rule follower.
Me
and
too.
Brody's like, I do what I want.
My time.
Yeah, mine doesn't care. Doesn't care. So yeah, it's funny. You were talking about hunting earlier, and how you've been taking Elliot hunting and stuff. And so have you been able to explain to him like, hey, this is why we go hunting. This is what happens.
Yeah, talk about that experience because I'd be curious to know how that goes.
Yeah,
Get a
so,
turkey, get a deer, whatever it is that you're hunting for.
Yeah. So I started off, probably 4 or 5 years ago. So he would have been 4 or so. And so I'd take him out with zero intention that we'd even see anything, right?
Right,
Because how
yeah.
can a 4-year-old sit still long enough to do anything, right? So it's
Exactly.
just the
Can't even
experience,
imagine.
right?
Sure.
You're hunting, right?
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm carrying the bow or carrying
We're
the
in the
gun.
woods together.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the same thing though, right? We were talking earlier, of having that shared experience, right?
Yeah.
So getting
Quality
him to
time.
like what you like, so it's easier to do stuff together.
good point.
When you like the same things, you want to spend time together. You develop that bond for it. So, so it kind of started around there, and then from. He's gotten to the point where he's asked a few times to go with me, and so where we can actually now he's 8, so we can sit longer, for an hour to 2 hours instead of 10 or 15 minutes, right? That you're not going to see a single animal in the woods at all. But it's been fun. So he's seen deer, seen turkeys, seen all kinds of stuff together. But it was kind of funny the other night. This happened, I think, on Tuesday night this week, or maybe Monday. I can't remember. But anyway,
Perfect timing.
So it's turkey season now.
Yep.
I'm probably the world's worst turkey hunter because I've killed one ever.
That's one more than me.
I was getting ready to say that's one more than me too, buddy.
Hey, okay, but you've never been.
Also fair.
have been,
Also a fair comment.
unfortunately. Yeah.
Well, so anyway, not successful myself, but so you'd think that he understands. He helps. He loves. I smoke a lot of meat. Pulled pork, ribs, all kinds of stuff. Right. So he loves helping me prepare the meat, season it, smoke it, all that stuff. Right. So you'd think he kind of understands. Where meat comes from now. So we're sitting there. We got the package of turkey out, right? Because I didn't kill one, so we have the store-bought turkey.
Yeah. So we're having sliced turkey right now.
And he goes,
That's on me.
"Oh, so a turkey comes from a turkey?" We're like,
Yes,
"Are
buddy.
you kidding me?"
Yes, buddy.
So where do you think deer meat comes from?
Right.
It's like, because he loves having
Hamburgers.
venison,
Yeah.
yeah. So
So we're definitely not driving past those cute cows out east of town.
Right. Gosh.
Yeah.
That is funny. The simplest things that we take for granted.
Yeah.
It's like
Sure.
kids don't know.
Yeah.
And then it clicks. And
Well, you grew up on a cattle farm. How does your dad introduce you to that? Was that early and often?
Oh yeah, it was very early, very often. Because I mean, yeah, we butchered our own, or we didn't butcher our own cattle, but we raised them, took them to the butcher, and I mean, yeah, I would take the cow to the butcher with Dad, and we'd unload it off the trailer, and it's like, yeah,
so as long as you name it T-Bone, right?
Well, we did. That was the thing. People are like, "How could you do that to cows you raised from one of those babies?" We didn't name them.
They were. That was number 7.
That was exactly. They had an ear tag with a number in them, and that's what they were.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, that was the thing. I don't really ever remember them talking specifically. Maybe they did before. When I was little, before I could remember. But but it was just like, yep. This is what it is. And well, like you were just talking about taking your kids to do stuff that you would normally do, and just introducing them to things that way. And yeah, my parents did that a ton. And yeah. You just
the circle of life,
right? Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, it's a great way to teach them responsibility too.
Sure,
and so I've volunteered for the state basketball tournament here the last couple of years.
Cool,
as a team host, and so the last 2 years, Elliot's gone with me and has been able to help me, host the team. Well, he doesn't have a whole lot to do, right, but he has absolutely loved it. Just had a blast, and teach him, hey, here's what we've got to do this at this time. We can't just go do what we want to do right now.
Right.
We're responsible for making sure this team's taken care of, that they've got what they need, that, hey, at this time we've got to make sure they're here for their picture. And so even though you want to go get a snack right now, we can't do that.
Sorry, we can't.
Right?
We got responsibilities.
Yeah. And so it's just that simple thing of kind of by going with you to something you're going to do anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And he's old enough now, right?
Right, he understands.
Your boys aren't old enough for that yet, right?
Yep.
They got to have time for them. Right? But in a couple of years, being able to do stuff like that, where they're around other adults, they're around other older kids to see stuff, it's been a blast.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah, at this point, Elsie, it's Elsie time 24/7, baby. There's no not Elsie time. Pay attention to me.
Absolutely.
It's time for everybody's favorite part of the episode. It's time for
what time?
Dad Joke of the Week.
Yeah, it is.
I'm never not gonna do that. It makes me so happy. We always like to get everybody's dad jokes. You can't be a dad worth your salt without having a good little dad joke in your pocket. Let's go right to our guest, Mr. Wright. What do you got?
So I've got 2 different ones.
So let's hear them both.
I've got one that I will not tell my kids today.
So we qualify that as an uncle joke.
Yep.
There we go.
Because your brother might tell it to your kids and you would be upset about it.
Yes, absolutely. So the backstory on this joke before I get into it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've known this joke for like 25, 30 years now. Okay. So grew up in a conservative home, right? So in Sunday school, right? Every Sunday, if the doors are open, we're there. Right?
Yeah.
For it. So anyway, we were in Sunday school class, and a very ultra conservative male leader was our Sunday school teacher. And so he tells this joke.
Okay.
Right? So here's the preface to it. Okay.
Nice.
So we're sitting there in the basement of the church, and he says this, right? What'd the fish say when it ran into the wall? Damn.
In a church, no less. Wow.
In a very conservative church.
Wow.
Well done.
Yes. Yeah.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Man.
I like that one a lot. What's your other one? I got to know your other one.
Yeah.
All right. So this one kind of goes back to kind of our days of growing up a little bit, right?
That's pretty good.
Yeah. How do you track Will Fred or screwed that one up?
That's all right.
Right. How do you track Will Smith in the snow?
Oh, no.
Right.
Oh, wait.
I feel like we've
Go
got
ahead.
several Will Smith jokes.
You look for the Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
Of course you do.
Yeah. Okay.
Of
yeah.
course you do.
That's solid.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like, that's got to be. What is it? Damn
Yep.
it. Think titles. Think movie titles.
I know,
is
that's
that
how
it?
I was like, what's he been in? Like, yeah.
Come on.
I love it. That's pretty solid. Hey, can you guys tell me, what would you call a reluctant potato?
A reluctant potato.
I don't know.
A hesitator.
Oh.
It's so simple, but so good.
Yes.
Thanks, Internet. I love dad jokes.
Oh, man, that's good.
Hesitator.
Yep.
Social media is the best
yeah.
resource for dad jokes. There's so many of them.
Oh, right. Yeah, for real. Yeah. At this point, most of these are not original.
Oh, are you kidding me? I don't think I've told a single original one on the show yet.
Yeah. All right. Well, boys, we mentioned on here several times, moved into a new house about a year ago.
Yeah.
And so we have an HOA now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have this open lot in our neighborhood. No house has been on it since they built the neighborhood, so they're thinking about putting a pool there.
Cool.
And so the HOA president, she's been, walking around to everybody's homes like, hey, can we get donations? We live at the back of the neighborhood, and so she finally gets around to our house, and she's like, hey, you probably heard we're building a pool, and we're just trying to ask everybody for donations to help out. And so I'm like, oh yeah, I'd be happy to help out. So I run inside, grab a glass of water, hand it to her. And she just looks at me funny. I don't know why.
You're so full of shit. That's good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's solid. In the back of my head, I'm going through your neighborhood going, there's not any empty lots in that neighborhood. What the hell are you talking about?
We have an empty lot in our neighborhood. They've talked about putting a pool in, and I was like, no, we don't want to pay for it.
Right?
You can
I'll donate the water.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'll be your water guy.
Yeah. So kind of speaking of that, I learned something new with science the other day.
Yeah.
So when what happens to nitrogen when the sun comes up?
I should know this.
It becomes daytrogen?
It does.
Oh, did I really get it?
Yeah.
Wow. I know.
Yes.
I was like,
Yeah,
no,
that's
that's
good.
right.
Yes, that simple.
I was like, it's like, wait, there's a night joke in there. God, I think that's the first one I've actually gotten right on the show. It only took us 30 episodes to
That's
get
right.
there.
Yeah, we'll get there, guys. Give us time, but we'll get there.
28 episodes are in or whatever we are.
Man.
So it'll be 18. And
Yeah,
you'll
no
finally get
joke.
'em all.
Yeah, exactly. God, hilarious. Well, DC, wrap it up for us. What do we got going?
Yeah, man, been growing a lot lately. Been getting a ton of subscribers. Recently, we've been getting a lot of activity in our comment sections on YouTube. A lot of people sharing their stories, sharing their dad jokes is what we just went over.
Yeah.
So we are stealing some of those. We are giving people credit for the ones that we do steal. So,
Yes, we are.
So don't worry about that. And then dad hacks, dad advice, getting a lot of that. So please continue to share what's working well with you, share your dad jokes, anything else that that you think would be useful for other dads out there, because we will share it on here. Continue to like, subscribe, share.
All the social media stuff.
That's right. But
Perfect.
But that's what I got.
Awesome. So all we have really left to say is way to go, decent dad.
There we go.
Nice work, buddy.
Absolutely.
Good job, buddy.
Nice work, bro. So I guess unless anybody else has anything else,
I got nothing.
we'll bring this thing to a close. Thank you very much for being here, pal.
Yep. Glad to be here.
We'll see you next time. I can't believe you don't have to take a potty break, Yippee. You always have to take a potty
I know, right? Well, I don't drink as much caffeine before the episodes now, because I know, that makes me go, and it takes me forever to get over there now. And then I don't drink as much of our hoppy coffee during the episodes either as I used to.
That's probably for the best.
So yeah, it is.
I should drink more hoppy coffee since I only have to go upstairs.
That's true. Yeah.
And that.
I don't know why, but I almost said, "Here we go" for you. I was like, I've never said that either. I was like,
Would have been something.
I was like.